It may surprise you to know that coaching doesn't always work. It's not a panacea. It's not perfect. In this video, I want to outline some of the really common coaching mistakes that I've observed over my career as a coaching psychologist to help you avoid them and get the maximum value from your coaching experience. Hi, I'm Dr. Richard McKinnon. I'm a workplace psychologist and coach, and in this channel, I share insights from the science of psychology to help you be your best self at work. A really common mistake that I see is to view coaching as just the coaching sessions themselves. That might be the standout activity. You're taking time out of your schedule to sit down and work with a trusted other. But coaching requires action and reflection, and the work that you do in between the coaching sessions is almost as, if not more important than the time you spend with your coach. If you were to meet your coach once a month, you've got a month in between those sessions to do things, to reflect, to think, to plan, to implement. So it's much better to view coaching as an overarching process that you're involved in, not a series of discrete events. That way, you can view yourself as being part of something and not simply attending meetings. A big part of coaching is taking action, trying new things. And if you work with me, you'll leave each of our sessions with something to do. Now, I don't know what that's going to be, but it could be reading something, it could be experimenting with some new habits, it could be having important conversations. If you don't take that action, you're not going to get the results you're hoping for. So it's very important to be realistic about the time and the effort and the discomfort involved in doing new things and committing to those things. But only commit to something authentically and honestly. Don't just agree with your coach. Be really clear of the benefits that are going to come about by you doing these new things. Now, if we discuss something, it might be a behavior, it might be a concept in the world of psychology, it might be something to do with an activity you're going to undertake. But if you don't understand it, if you haven't got clarity on why you're doing it, you really need to ask, because we want to work in partnership. We want to work as a team, and it's really not helpful if you leave the coaching session unclear as to something that was discussed or something you're committing to do. So ask those questions, get that clarity. It's not unusual to feel a lot of enthusiasm and excitement when you start working with a coach. That's great. I would always try and harness that. But that excitement can translate into trying to do too much too soon. And in fact, those big, scary goals can be just that. And it can be hard to maintain progress, and it can be hard to have a sustainable approach to those changes once that initial enthusiasm has subsided. Slow and steady is normally a much better approach to behavior change. Now, in my video about how to prepare for your first coaching session, and it's linked below, I underline the importance of reflection before going to that session. This applies to all coaching activities. It's useful to take time out to think, to reflect on how things are going for you. How do you feel about the process? How do you feel about the changes you're trying to make, about the experiments you're engaging in, the new behaviors, the new habits, whatever it might be? Don't just approach it like an automatic pilot exercise or a checklist that you're working through. Think about how it feels to go through this, and then you're going to be able to share that reflection with your coach, or if nothing else, it will prompt you to ask more questions. I mentioned the action that you'll take away from each coaching session. It can be really tempting to do that tomorrow, and then tomorrow, and before you know it, it's nearly time for your next coaching session. You've procrastinated or maybe even forgotten about it completely. You try and do that in a day or two when you had a month. So try not to treat this like that sort of Sunday night homework when you realize, oh no, school tomorrow, I've got to do it all tonight. It won't feel authentic, it won't feel positive, it won't feel like a good use of your time. When you're clear on the activities that you're going to do in between the coaching sessions, pop it in your schedule. Make sure there's time set aside to do it, and it's a realistic amount of time spread across the time in between those coaching sessions. Please don't leave it till the last minute. You won't get the benefit that's intended from the exercise to begin with. Now, while this might feel very frustrating, my job as a coach is not to make decisions for you. And if you turn up to coaching sessions presenting me with options and asking me to choose for you, I'm going to push back gently, but you will know that I'm not going to make those decisions for you. That's not what coaching is about. So don't feel aggrieved, don't feel frustrated, don't feel let down, and be prepared to have a conversation to explore those options so that you can authentically choose a course of action based on our discussion. Coaching is a very different activity to counseling or therapy or mentoring or even a chat with a friend. It's different to all of those. So don't use your coaching sessions as a chance to simply offload. Don't treat your coach like someone who's paid to just listen and be the receptacle for all of your complaints. Yes, bring your difficulties and your challenges to the table, but be prepared to then discuss them and to agree a course of action in response to them. Coaching is not a listening service. They are valuable, but this is different. So if you're finding this useful, please either hit like, share it with someone in your personal or professional life who you think might benefit from it too. And if you haven't already, you can subscribe to the channel for more psychology of the workplace topics like this. If you've got any questions about coaching, any aspect of coaching, please drop them in the comments below and I'll do my very best to answer them. Thank you for making it to the end of this video with me. It's always nice to know people out there are watching. I'll see you next time.